Old Saxon consonants. B, as in English b, but in the middle of words, between vowels, it makes a sort of F sound. I mean, this really depends heavily on the etymology of the word itself and what it evolved into in the future, into Middle Saxon and then into Modern Saxon. But at the end of words, B at the end of words is as English P. So it's P. B with a stroke at the start of words is a F sound. Between vowels, it is a V sound, as in English V. At the end of words, it is an F sound. Moving on. C as in English could, so K sound. D as in English D. Now F is a little complex because there are many symbols here that represent F. At the start of words, F is an F sound, the F, and now F in the middle of words is as in English, a V sound, and then F at the end of words is also a F sound. But this can be a little complex when you look at other words and whatnot. Again, I have to reiterate that you have to kind of know a bit of the etymology of the word you're working with, what it evolved into to have a good guess of what it would have been pronounced. But generally, as far as F goes, it is what I present here. Moving on. FT as in English, so ft. F as in English, double F. Then we have fl, as in English. Moving on. G. G is an interesting letter because it has a number of sounds, but generally it's a guttural letter that makes a r sound. It's a very guttural sound. However, it can have an English y sound and an English y sound when before front vowels or between vowels in general, that you get this y sound. However, if you have a word that would have a K, but it's G, but it's that has a G, that G would be pronounced as an explosive G. So it'd be a G sound. So we have flask, then we got flask, if you will. So that's something to bear in mind. But so apart from the English Y, if you will, and the explosive G, if you will, between that, other pronunciations of G are as I said earlier, generally the R sounds of that, and that velar voice fricative G. Anyway, moving on. H, as in English, ha, and in the middle of words, it makes a H sound, as in German. J. J is an interesting letter as well because it has a number of functions. It's represented through G, I, E, and GI. As we can see here, we got yer again. We have ye, we got ye, we got riki, yuhu, and helion. Yeah, because the E there, the second E sort of plays as a kind of a J in a weird way. And it's also represented through I at the end of words. So it's kind of, so it's like, and the J is like an English Y feel. It's like a Y sound. So remember at the end of a word that, and you see I, it's sort of like a J. So like Riki, like Riki, or something along the lines of that. Anyway, moving on. So, and J plays a weird role. So it comes in the words with long syllables and double consonants, even though you don't see a J there. But it's like William and Liu do. So yeah, there we have it. Now K, as in English, cold. So a K sound, like C, but things before front vowels, and front vowels again are I, E, ash. When K is before them, it has a kia, kind of a kia sound. But later, it had a sort of an English ch sound. I mean, pick or choose your pronunciation. If some people may veer towards an earlier Old Saxon pronunciation or a later pronunciation. I mean, it's really up to you at this point. I mean, to be fair though, I mean, no one really knows how these people would have spoke anyway. So, I mean, we have good guesses, but anyway, let's move on. Now, L, as in modern English, L, but it doubles in a word when it's front of J's. So we have here Will Leon, Elion, Elion, and Yetelion. So it's like the J's, so the invisible J, if you will. That's one way to look at it. But as far as L goes, it's just, it's just L. Anyway, moving on. So M, now N, as in modern English, N, but when it was the G or K or with NG, NK, NH, it's a kind of a nasally sort of Ng, or Nk, so that's something to bear in mind. R, you roll and tap, so it's a R, it's where necessary. All right, moving on. S, this has this symbol. In IPA, it's like a sa, like sa. Yeah, if that makes sense. Now, so we got sk, we got sl, and st, as in modern English. T, as in English, t. Now, as in English, this is like the th, like a th sound, but the thing is, there's a difference between something called voiced and voiceless. A voiced th is a th, or d with a stroke is a th sound. Voice is a th. So voiced, th, voiceless. Th. The general rule with this is that at the start of words is a th sound, and the middle of words it's a th sound. At the end of words is a th sound. As far as the initial th or th, I mean, that may depend on which dialect maybe you want to focus on, maybe if there is any, but most linguists would agree. Or the thing is, there are different opinions on pronunciation. I mean, some would really argue the start of a word a th sound, because many Germanic languages the th evolved into a d sound, if you will, and but some would say a th. So pick or choose. So th or th when you want to start your word. But moving on. Now V is quite complex, but again, you have to look at the etymology of the word to see what it evolved into, and then you can take a good guess whether it's a v sound. But it's also represented through u, so that's something to bear in mind, because Old Saxon seems to recycle its own letters. Anyway, moving on. W, as in English, so w. It can be represented as U or like two U's, so that's kind of like, hence the name of the letter, the W. But thing is, again, you have to look at the etymology, and it requires some brain power to notice whether this is a actual U or a V or W. I mean, it depends on the nature of the word. I mean, an easy way to know, if you were to compare cognate words, so you would have an idea how that word would be pronounced, or look at the etymology, would it evolve into later. Moving on. Okay, this is a very rare letter. You would find this in biblical names, I would think. But my best guess at this letter in Old English Old Saxon would be a Z sound. Maybe. I could be wrong on that, but we'll see. And that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe. I make videos whenever I can. Please become a patron to support this show. And if you really like my material, please like my Facebook down below. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.